If you're like me, you may remember the Smokey and the Bandit days when CB radios were all the craze. Well, two-way radios have come a long way since those days. In this video, we're going to take a look at one of the latest offerings from Midland, and that is the Midland Micro Mobile. That's coming up on Survival on Purpose. Welcome back to Survival on Purpose. My name is Brian. Thanks for joining me. So I can remember when CB radios were about the size of this box right here, and everybody seemed to have one. They were real popular, and there were movies, and there was Breaker 19 movies, and just all kind of, they were like a craze across America. And I think that craze has kind of died out. I know my dad was an over-the-road truck driver for a lot of years, and that was just kind of like, you got to have a CB radio, right? But nowadays, those of us who may want to go off into the old woods with our four-wheel drive or go out camping or whatever, it's just a good idea to have some means of communication, whether just for basic camping or, you know, in case of a grid-down situation. When the cell phone towers and stuff are out, radios will still work because they're pretty much self-contained. They just send signals through the air, right? That was a very technical explanation of how radios work. Right? So anyway, the folks at Midland were kind enough to send me one of their micro mobile radios, and this is a GMRS band radio, which stands for General Mobile Radio System. And first of all, it requires a license, so it's like 80 bucks to have a license for this thing. You basically just fill out a paper. There's no test. You don't have to know Morse code or anything like that. And this thing puts out up to 5 watts, so pretty strong little radio, considering that some of the handhelds are half a watt. But we're going to take a look at some of the features of this. Now, I will tell you, there are a couple of other videos I'll direct you to that I think are well worth watching if you're interested in this. And that's one that JJ from Reality Survival did. I'll put a link to that below. And another one that Ben from Living Survival did. And I'll put a link to both of those below. And they talked about both these and the handheld. And we're just going to talk about this one on this video. I did a separate video on the X-Talker handhelds. But first of all, one thing I think is really cool about this is I got a standard deck of bicycle playing cards here, just to give you a reference. That's how big it is. So it's just barely bigger than a deck of cards. So without a lot of rambling, let's take it down the old stump top. We'll talk about the features of this thing, and I'll tell you my real world results of range and how far this thing would transmit, and we'll wrap this thing up. Okay, so here is the Midland Micro Mobile Radio System. And what you get is you'll get the radio, and it's got the microphone already attached to it. Then you've got a magnetic mount antenna, which is about a 10-foot cord on it. Screws right on back here, and it's removable. You can take it on and off, just like so. Then you have the power cord, which plugs in here, and it's also removable. And it comes with just put this right in a PowerPoint cigarette lighter style thing. One thing I like about it is you can actually take the radio out of the housing if you got it mounted on in your vehicle, and just unscrew it, take it with you. So you can either have your mount already mounted to your vehicle and just take this with you. You don't have to worry about somebody stealing it. Or you can also take the whole thing with you if you want to mount it in several different vehicles and just buy some different mounts and you have one radio. So that's just a pretty cool feature. The other thing that's really cool is, depending on how you mount this, you can turn it this way, and the display is actually will reverse on here, which is pretty cool. Now, one thing I think is really great about this, it gives you 5 watts of power. So I was going to mount this up in the Bronco, by the way, but the cigarette lighter in the Bronco is fried, so I couldn't do that. So I tested this in my F-150 pickup truck. When I tested it with the X-Talker. Now, I was able to receive from the X-Talker about a little over a mile with this up on a hill and this outside. I was able to transmit, and it could be received by this X-Talker up to about 2 miles, and this is in a suburban environment. So over a flat area or from hilltop to hilltop, they say you can get up to 5 miles or 6 miles with this thing. But 2 miles in an urban environment is pretty decent. And it was crystal clear coming into the radio. I just thought it was a really cool little addition to the bug out Bronco, because anytime you're kind of out, it's always good to have some communication. So in my mind, this will function as kind of like the base station for these. So you could have this in your vehicle, and your antenna's mounted up high, so you could actually communicate with several of these handheld radios. And it doesn't have to, even if they're a different brand, as long as they're GMRS radios, most GMRS radios are going to transmit and communicate with this. So anybody that has a GMRS radio and is on the same frequency, you should be able to communicate with them with this. And I know that JJ on his video put a larger antenna on there, was able to get further distance. But I got, again, about 2 miles just with the setup that comes. And that's my real world testing. So again, what I think is so impressive about this, honestly, is just, I mean, there's a deck of cards. It is just amazingly small, and it works really well. Okay, well, this has been a quick look at the Midland Micro two-way GMRS radio. And I got to say, if you're looking for a really powerful little radio, which is, this is 5 watts in a very compact package, whether you're talking about camping or a grid down situation or bug out or whatever, you know, GMRS is a good system, and this can be a pretty good choice for you for medium range communications. Very compact and very well designed. So once again, thanks to the folks at Midland for sending me this so I can show it to you. And as always, thank you for watching Survival on Purpose. Thanks for subscribing. If you haven't done so, I put out a new video every Friday. Every Saturday is a Charade Saturday video, and usually a couple more throughout the week, one point or another. If you like this kind of video, please give it a big thumbs up. Let Google know you like it. And as always, thank you for supporting the channel by doing all your Amazon shopping through the Survival on Purpose links at survivalonpurpose.com/Amazon, or any of the product links below. And also, if you want to support the channel without shelling out any cash up front, you can check out the 1-month free trial to audible.com below, and you can download a free audiobook and get a 1-month free trial. I like to listen to those while I'm driving, just really beats staring at the traffic. So, and that helps support the channel, and I really appreciate it. So once again, my name's Brian. You're watching Survival on Purpose. Remember, survival's not an accident, so be prepared, and I'll see you next time. First, let's just take it down. We'll talk about so Breaker 19, you got a county mounting taking pictures of mile marker 9. Come on.